We're finally here. The Vampire with a Soul gets his own series. After 3 seasons of Buffy, let's break up the monotony. Not that it's monotony at all, but let's break it up by sticking some Angel in the mix. And this was not a great season, I will say. There were great moments. I think the highlight reel is going to be more fun for me than the normal overview, to be honest, because there are 2 or 3 standout episodes that I think really made this season bearable. And that's about the only thing I can say for it, unfortunately. It's bearable. It was trying to find its feet and, figuring out what is different from Buffy and what's the same as Buffy. And that's a hard line to tread. And maybe I'm harsher on it because they've got 3 seasons of Buffy under the belt. This isn't like the first season of Buffy where it's like, from scratch, introduce everything, start the world off. This is the same universe. It's not Dollhouse or Firefly, where it's a whole separate world. This is following on. Just a parallel tale then. The path splits. So we're following one branch. But, like I say, it still had positives. I think one of the positives that really should have gone on longer, but I know there were reasons why, was the inclusion of the late Glenn Quinn as Francis Doyle. He was effectively Angel when Whistler first met him, although less eating rats. But generally just kind of mooching around, not really living by any stretch of the imagination. But his tales are very different. He's arguably quite similar in the fact he's half demon, if you consider vampires are half demon. It's human with demon inside of them. But he didn't know, and his was like from birth. It was, a surprise when all of a sudden one day, poof, spikes coming out my face and I'm kind of a weird bluey green shade. Not good for winning friends and influencing people, I'm sure. So his life of like getting into gambling debt, running with the wrong crowd, ditching his wife because he totally misunderstood her intentions. It is indicative of his character. But I do love the fact that on his bow out episode, which I will talk about in much detail, don't worry, he does get a sort of redemption. And, he's been pining after Cordelia all this time, and he even joked, is this a face you could learn to love? And I love that. I think it was a beautiful tribute, but I will talk more on that when I talk about Hero in the highlights episode. But of course with his exit we had a void to fill. Where's the comic relief? Where's the kind of bumbling fool? Well, there's no better bumbling fool than rogue demon hunter Wesley Wyndham-Pryce. And I do want to quickly shout out, I don't think I did it in the season 3 overview or anything, but Alexis Denisov is a great, I was going to say comedic actor, but he does like the dark side of Wesley well, he does grief really well, and sort of later in Angel. I think he's just a great actor. And he's also the other in one of the MCU films, which future me will put the title of down here, because I've forgotten. But yeah, he's such a great actor, and I have all respect for him. He's great in How I Met Your Mother as well, as Sandy Rivers. But yeah, so we get him to fill the Doyle-shaped void. And of course, at the end of the season, we finally get the introduction of J. August Richards as Charles Gunn. And I like the fact that they did bring something like that. We know all about the trained fighters in Buffy and her crew. But what about street level defense? There's surely gangs of kids in big cities who have lost family or, just noticed something's amiss and want to help. We kind of had it in 2 episodes. Well, 1 episode, but it linked to 2 episodes. I totally forgot last month when I was talking about season 3. The Wish is kind of like the White Hats group, almost. I think it was almost like the laying down the groundwork for Gunn's gang. And yeah, I feel really awful that I forgot to mention them in the season 3 overview or highlight reel. So I know The Wish and Doppelgangland, I'm a bad person and I apologise for it right here, right now. Maybe at some point in the future I'll do a follow-up video just talking about those 2, because they're great. And I'm stupid for missing them. But back to Angel. This is how much I don't like this season. I'm talking about the last season of Buffy, which was not one of my favourites and still isn't, even though I love it more. But there's a lot here that, really needed, I think, more, confidence. I think that was what was lacking for this first season of Angel. I think there's a lack of confidence. They were like, this is new territory. What do we do? How do we move forward? Can we progress without the spectre of Buffy, as it were? Can we make this its own thing? Well, maybe we'll just play it safe. We'll do this. We'll do this. A lot of people hated Kate, thinking she was a Buffy surrogate, I guess, or replacement, really. I don't think that was ever the intent. I think when people were like, oh, is it? When she first appeared in Lonely Hearts, I think maybe that made them go, oh, we can try it. But then they tried it and backlash happened. It just wouldn't become a thing. One of the biggest issues, I think, with Kate's character arc, full stop, is how she sees this but still is very distrustful and hateful. I think she doesn't develop, really, into a trusting person, but that's future Kate that we'll deal with later. But the biggest thing, obviously, that's different in the world of Angel is Wolfram and Hart. We've never really had legal dealings. We've had the Mayor conspiracy and things like that, which was really, from the start, but properly cemented, obviously, in season 3 of Buffy. But Wolfram and Hart is this big overarching thing that really exists throughout. And there's a lot of great things, again, that happen with this. People don't seem to like that idea, it's too adult, too, big corporation run by demons, or something more than demons, the kind of elder beings themselves. But Wolfram and Hart, I think, were a very good foil, because again, we've dealt with minor legal repercussions with Buffy. But what if there's a law firm representing all the scum of the earth out there, demon or human? Would that not be a worthy foe for a vampire with a soul? So I like that element, and Lindsay McDonald is a great character. He's fascinating to me. But like season 1 of Buffy, this was very much a set-up season. I think, there are a lot of missteps. There are a lot of, I'm not sure how to feel about this kind of episodes. Like I don't think On the Fence really covers it, although we do get Sean Gunn in that as the guy running the spa, which is pretty cool. That one and I love Bai Ling. I think she's a great actress, but it felt weird. It didn't feel right. Something about it just didn't sit well. So it was very much again, here's what we can do. This is like the tone, we're going darker and more adult, but what do we do with it? And even season 2, I think, obviously getting ahead of myself a bit, wasn't great for it, but it was a little more refined. We got all the players in. And of course, we've got one of the really important players in, who was brought back at the end of this year, Darla. But I think we'll leave Angel season 1 really at its end, and we'll talk more in a few weeks when I do the highlight reel, and then in a couple of months, because we're alternating now with Buffy and Angel. So don't join me for all of that, but until next time, as always, thank you for watching and take care.